Hi, I'm Robert Hooker. I'm a blogger from Share the Point, where I discuss SharePoint and the bigger collaboration Web 2.0 social media industry. Today I'm on behalf of Total Social Media. Talk about a topic that I think is going to be kind of fun, is creating a Facebook-like environment using Microsoft-based products. Now, the first question a lot of you may be asking is, why would you want a Facebook-like environment? Well, um, actually, this is coming up a lot more and more. I mean, we're starting to hear and read more and more on the web that people are actually looking at Facebook. They're coming home and they're looking at their teenage kids on Facebook. They're maybe even looking at themselves or their own employees on Facebook. And they're seeing, well, what are people doing on Facebook? Well, and on Facebook, people are keeping collections of their friends. Their friends are introducing friends to each other. They're able to keep track of what their friends are doing, what their friends are accomplishing. They're also able to send emails to their friends, so they're able to message their friends. They're able to go create and join groups with their friends, work together, and they're also able to send instant messaging and type to their friends. And this is all done in one tool. So what you have here is you have email, you've got instant messaging, you've got potentially replacing the telephone, you've got an ECM web content management tool, and you've got a social networking tool all rolled up into one window. And it's in one window. It's extremely powerful tool, Facebook. And when SharePoint 2007 came out, we really didn't have Facebook to point at. So a lot of people look at SharePoint and they thought, oh, it would be a replacement for Documentum or Interwoven or OpenText. And that's how it tended to be rolled out. Well, what more and more people are starting to see is it could really actually, let's build something like the Facebook model. And I think it really is a very good point. Now, let's imagine your boss comes in one day and gives you this challenge to propose a Facebook-like alternative using Microsoft's technology. Well, what do you do? Okay, well, some things are very straightforward. Exchange server, Active Directory. I don't think I need to go in those. You know you're going to need email. You know you're going to need account directory and things like that. You know you're going to need to be able to authenticate people with passwords. You already know that. The area where you could start thinking about really getting a SharePoint-based like Facebook would be, first of all, look at the new social computing features in 2010. In 2007, in 2003 as well, you had MySite. MySites was kind of a weaker kind of MySpace. You could put files that you could share. You could put files yourself. You could put information about yourself and your hierarchy in there. But it was fairly weak. You saw who your boss was and who your assistant was. It saw any files that you might share, and you could put a picture of yourself up on it. It really didn't have it didn't have a wall. It didn't tell people where your latest experience was. It didn't tell people, it didn't enable people to find your contacts and other contacts, to see what things you've worked on, to see what kind of areas of expertise. It didn't allow tag clouding. And if you ever really wanted to create a rich system that allowed people to put information about themselves and about what they were doing and where they were, you really did have to customize MySite. Well, with 2010, they've really brought the MySites up. You've got a much richer organizational chart that lets people see where they are within the organization. You're going to have a better wall and ability to be able to see what people have been doing, also to be able to see what expertise areas people have. You also have richer social networking tools that are like Facebook throughout SharePoint. You have the ability for people to do what's called folksonomies. So people can actually tag information they find with keywords that they approve of, like in a Flickr or in any of the Web 2.0 products. You've also got the ability to people to comment things that they think that they like, that they think are useful. So this gives you not only the ability to know who your colleagues are, you can know what they're doing. You can also know what they find useful or what helps them. Okay, and this added on to SharePoint's ability for you to collaborate with them, to share documents, to work with them. Now, SharePoint 2010 just out of itself is more Facebook-like, but probably one of the great things about Facebook is that when your friends actually come on, you can actually instant message them. Okay, so really I would say that if you're really serious about SharePoint, you should also be serious about Office Communication Server. You should implement the two of them together. And if you implement Office Communication Server with SharePoint, this gives you the ability to not only see who's made a piece of contact or who your friends are, you can see if they're available at this time, and then you can start IMing them with Office Communication Server in real time. This gives you a benefit. It's much easier for your staff to keep in touch with each other, to collaborate, to find experts, but they can also, for example, if they need to find an expert in a particular area, nowadays you might actually have a staff spending a whole day on the telephone. You're like, you have to pay for those telephone bills for a whole day, and they may end up calling Germany and Australia and New Zealand. Well, imagine it's on SharePoint. They can see whether the person is logged in or not, whether to bother to make the contact. If the person isn't logged in, they can send them an email going through Exchange Server. If they are logged in, they can try to make an instant messenger. And if you're using Office Communication Server, they can also do voice over IP, so you can get like a Skype-like feature. So you could say, you could actually start talking. So if you have the combination of Office Communication Server with Live Meeting, Exchange Server, and SharePoint 2010, you've got the rich tool set where you can bring together, where you can get a unified communication platforming. Okay, and that's really, if somebody comes in, if your suit comes in and says he wants something Facebook-like, and you need to technically translate it, this is what you want to look at. You want to look at bringing as many of your communication, real-time communication, and not real-time communication like IM or instant messaging together in one place, in one platform. And that one platform is SharePoint 2010. Okay, so once again, I hope you found this very informative and useful, and have a good day, and good luck with SharePoint 2010.